Okay, so now let's take a brief review for our coming test. So this test will cover chapter 2, 3, 5, and 6. As you know, chapter 2 about, different exchange rate across different countries. So it's not too many calculations in these chapters. You can basically, review our lecture notes on Blackboard for this chapter. So I will not take too much time to go over this chapter. I will put my times most into the chapters 3, 5, and 6. In chapter 3, we study the balance of payment by BOP account. In chapter 5, we study, how to read quote. Right? To be more specific, the quote is about foreign exchange rate. Right? In chapter 6, we study the two parities. Right? One parity is about interest rate. Right? The covered interest rate parity. And the other one is purchasing power parity. The two parities. Right? So today I will go over these topics in the details. The first one is the BOP account, the balance of payment. For BOP account, it is a balance sheet, right? So every transactions will double entry into the balance of payment, right? For BOP account, we have the three account, right? The first one is the current account. The next one is the capital or financial account. Last one is what? Is reserve account, right? So balance of current account plus the balance of capital account plus balance of reserve account must equal to 0, right? So that means our sheet are balanced, right? That's our most important identity in these chapters, right? Be careful for the pure flexible exchange rate, right? Countries, they will have no reserve because if the foreign exchange are totally flexible, right? You cannot use the reserve, right, to affecting your what? Your exchange rate policies, right? So this one will be gone, right? So we have only the two accounts, right, for the pure flexible foreign exchange rate countries, right? But in reality, right, not every country has a pure flexible foreign exchange rate. Even for the US, right, our country's currency is not pure flexible, right? So we have this reserve account. Right? Now let's see the questions. The US has experienced continuous current account, right, deficit, right, since the early 1980s. What do you think are the main causes for this deficit? What would be the consequence if the US continuously incur C account deficits? The first one, what is a current account? Right? Current account is an account record what? Record every transaction in a trade. Right? This trade including what? Including the export and imports of the goods and also service. Right? And also including what? Net transfer, right? Net transfer across the countries, right? Or you can say net transfer payments, right? From the US to the foreign countries, right? The goods, right? Including the consumer goods and also the other physical goods, right? For the service, right? Including the what? Including the, the restaurant, hotels, right? And also, right, most service in the US we export is what? Financial service, right? Financial service, for example, right, the banking, right? And also, the commissions for the stock tradings, right? They are all financial service. So our current account record the trade and the net transfer payments, right, during one fiscal year, right? During 1 year, right, within a year. So if the current account incur deficits, right, most likely, for example, for the US, is what? Is import more than what? More than export, right? If we have the import more than export, we continually, incur what? Trade deficit, right? The trade deficit is the major reasons we have what? Current account deficits, right? Actually, our service account is incur our what? Surplus, right? So it means we exporting more service, right, to the foreign country and we import the service from the other countries, right? However, we import more consumer goods, right, and we exporting the goods to the foreign countries, right? So that's the main reason we have the trade deficit. Right? That's also the reason we have what? Current account, right, deficits, right? If we continue incur these deficits, right, what's the consequence, right? What's the consequence? You can see here, right? I try to put the details for why we incur the current account deficits, right? First one, we have our what? Strong dollars, right? The strong dollars is good if we want to buy something, right, from the foreign country, right? We can use a strong dollar to pay the what? To pay the importers, right? However, if we have the strong dollars, that means our goods, right, are more expensive than the foreign country. Right? The price of goods are more expensive, right, than the foreign country. It will be not good, right? It will be not good for our what? Export, right? But it's good for our import, right? So for the US, we have the import more than what? Export, right? So that's the reason we have what? Current account deficit, right? The next one, right? And in these chapters, we also study another equations, right? It's the S minus T, right? So we can, directly go to equations, right? We don't need to derive this one again, right? We already derived this one in class, right? So now let me give you this one directly, right? So saving minus investment, right? Plus what? Tax minus G, right? G is government spending, right? Equal to what? X minus IM, right? So this is our what? Net savings, right? Saving minus investment is net savings, right? And this one, right, is our tax, right, minus government spendings, right? So that's our net tax revenues, right, forward for our government, right? So government receive the tax from the public and spending the tax for public projects, right? The difference will be the net tax revenues for government. So if we have the trade deficit, that means this part is what? Is negative, right? So if this one is negative, means these two terms and the list, one of these two terms will be what? Will be negative, right? So that means our savings are what? Too low, right? So in the US we have high consumptions, right? we buy something more than we produce, right? So it means we need to import the goods from a foreign country, and also we have the what? Low savings, right? If we have a low savings, right, this term will become what? Minus, right? So that's why this part is also minus is what? Trade deficit, right? And we have relatively high consumptions and low savings, right, compared with our, trading partners, right, like the Japan and the China, right? These two countries are high savings, right? The last one, our manufacturing industries, right, is relatively weak, right? So it's either because we have a higher labor cost, right? So our, we cannot hiring the labels in a local market, right, to producing the goods with a competitive price, right? So that's cause our industries, right, especially manufacturing industries, right, relatively weaker compared with the foreign countries, right? That's the three reasons why the U.S. continue incur the trade deficit or current account deficit, right? If the deficit continue, you know, happen to the U.S. for different years, right? What will eventually happen? If we continue incur deficit, right, we must to pay the foreign countries, right? Use the dollars, right? Use the dollars, right? So the supply of the dollars will be more than the demand of dollars, right? So dollar will be what? Depreciate, right? We must to supply our, dollars, right? To pay the foreign, trade partners, right? So our dollars quantities, right? The supply is more than demand, right? Dollar will depreciate, right? The confidence in the dollar will be suffered, right? In a what? In a eventually, right? We cannot continue to print more money because it will cause inflation, right? So eventually our dollar will be depreciate, right? The next one, it is examples opposite to the first questions, right? Now it's for the Japan, right? Compared with the US, Japan has what? Trade account surplus, right? What's the surplus means Japan has the more export than what? Than their import, right? For example, Japan exporting Toyota to the US, right? They also exporting, computers, right? And laptops, right? Cameras, right? And also video games, right? To the foreign countries, right? So they have the exports more than imports, right? They have the current account surplus, right? So let's say what's the main cause for trade account surplus, and what's the consequence, right? If the trade surplus, right, continue happen to this country. First one, right? How can you sell something more competitive than the other countries? Your goods must be what? Must be relatively cheaper, right? So for example, Japan's are what? Weak yen, right? Yens are Japanese currency, right? So they have a weak yen, right? So compared with the strong dollar, they have a weak yen. So their goods are relatively what? Cheaper, right? It will be good for their what? Export, right? And also because of the technology in the Japan, right? They have a lower productivity cost, right? So they have a highly competitive needs, right, in their industries, right? So they can exporting, more goods than they import. And also Japanese has a close nature, right? For the Asian markets, right, they have a close nature, right? So they usually prefer, right, buy the more traditional goods, right, from their local markets than from the foreign markets, right? So they also import what? Import less, right? They export more and import less, right? So that's why they can continue incur trade account surplus, right? If this one happened, right, will push their currency what? It will push their currency to appreciate, right? Because if they exporting more, right, the other countries they need to pay the yen, right, for their what? For their import, right? So if they pay more yen means more demand of what? Yen, right? So means yen will what? Appreciate. And also the countries can have our what? Protectionist sentiment, right? So for their local industries, right? So local brands, for example, that's also reasons, right? Because the country has a what? Has a trade surplus, right? But this one will be not good, right? I mean the deficit countries, right? Also will have what? Will promoting the protectionist sentiment, right? Eventually, right? So they will, against Japanese export, right? It will not good for their export anymore. The next one, right? Since the US import more than export, it will be necessary for the US to import capital from a foreign country to finance its current account deficit, right? Is this one true or not? The statement pre-assume the US has a current account deficit, right? And this one calls the capital account surplus. In reality, the causality can be running in a opposite, right? Opposite directions, right? US capital account has a surplus, right? And this one can cause what? Can cause the current account what? Deficit, right? As you know, we have the balance of the current account plus the balance of the capital account, right? Plus the balance of the reserve account, right, equal to 0, right? So if we have the capital account has a surplus, right, then our current account will be what? Will be deficit, right? Suppose we have a small reserve account, right? For example, right, US has a very good financial environment, right? We have a very good, stock market and also foreign exchange market, right? So all the all the other foreign investors, right, they found US is a good place to do investment, right? So they will send their capital into the US, right? And this one will cause our capital account to be surplus, right? We have the more export of the capital, right? Then we have the import, right? So this one is positive. If this one is positive, right, to make this equation balanced, right, if we ignore this one, right, then this one should be what? Should be deficit, should be negative, right? Should be negative, right? So you can see our capital flows, right, inflows will strengthen the dollars, right, but will hurting our what? Will hurting our export, right? Will encourage more imports, right, from the foreign countries, right, and cause our current account what? Deficit, right? Deficit. So to comment on this statement, you can base on our equations, right, to see the connection between the current account and the capital account, right? These two are what? Are offset each other, right? If one is positive, the other one should be negative. Describe the balance of payments identities, right? And also discuss its implications under the fixed and the flexible exchange rate regions, right? We just mentioned this one in today's presentations, right? We have the BOP account has the three terms, right? We have the balance of the capital account, and balance of the current account, right, plus balance of capital account plus balance of the reserve account must equal to 0. Right? We already showed this one. And if we have the fixed rate regions, right, this one will be not equal to 0. Right? So we have the total 3 terms, right, in these equations. However, if we have flexible exchange rate regions, right, then this one will be gone. Right? Only these 2 terms left. Right? Let's see the details. Right? For our balance of payments, right, hold the combined balance on current account and capital account. Right? These two should equal in the size, but opposite in the sign, right, to the change in the official reserve account. Right? So if the 3 terms, right, equal to 0, right, means these 2 accounts must be different from this one in the sign and also in the numbers, right? So the numbers will be offset each other's, right? The sign will be opposite, right? But under the pure flexible exchange rate regions, right, our central bank, Federal Reserve, right, will not engage in any official reserve transactions, right? In such case, the BRA account will close to 0, right? Then our BCA and BK will equal to 0, right? So these two will be what? Will be offset each other's, right? So if you can see the BCA will be equal to the minus BKA, right? So these two has the same value, but sign will be what? Will be offset, right? Will be offset. On the fixed rate regions, a country can have an overall BOP surplus or deficit because the central bank can use what? Foreign reserve transactions, right? Official reserve transactions. But for our pure flexible exchange rate regions, right? Our BOP cannot have a surplus or deficit because we have no what? We have no we have no such BRA equal to 0, right? So these 3 will be always there, right, in the equations, right? Next one, we will review something about quote. We studied 2 formats of quote, right? The first one is direct quote, right? So direct quote, we will measure our domestic currency, right, as a pricing currency, right? So we will try to price what? Foreign currency, right? Use a domestic currency, right? So our base currency is a foreign currency, right? Our pricing currency is what? Is a home currency or domestic currency, right? For example, right? For €1, right, equal to how many dollars? It is a direct quote, right? For indirect quote, we will check what? For $1 domestic dollars, right, equal to how many foreign currency, right? So be this format, right? So these two you can say is what? Is a inverse, right? Is a inverse, right? It's a inverse. The base currency, right, is the currency in a what? In the bottom of the quote, right? So there will be in a 1 unit, right? 1 unit, right? The price currency is in the top of these ratios, right? Means to quote how much in 1 base currency, right? You can see here. This is what? AUD to USD equal to 0.8. Be careful. This way we saw this one on our Bloomberg website, right? So this one actually means what? Means for $1 Australian, right, equal to how many US dollars? Right? Be careful, right? If you saw this way, please transfer this one to our standard format of the quote, right, in the book. So this one means for $1 Australian, right, equal to how many US dollars? right? And for this one, right, it's opposite. That means what? For $1 right, equal to how many Australian dollars, right? So you can see these two are opposite, right? So this one should be 1 over 0.8, right, equal to 1.25. So let's see some questions for the cross rate. Suppose you have observed the following exchange rate: €1 equal to $1.5, £1 equal to $2. What's the euro pound exchange rate? Okay, so euro to the pound exchange rate should be the euro to the pound, right? And based on this one, right, you can say it is €1 for how many dollars, right? Euros are base currency, right? So it's equal to 1.5. And for this one, for £1, right? £1, right? Equal to how many dollars? 2, right? And for this one is what we want to solve, right? And you can say our euros is on the top, right? The pound is in the bottom, right? So this one is with the same format of this one. So we have a dollar over pound, right? Should divide by what? Dollar to the euro, right? In this way, right? Our dollar can be cancelled out, right? Then this one will be what? Will be go to the top, right? So that's why we need to use our what? Division, right? So if you decide this is a divisions, right, we will use the 2 over what? 1.5 equal to what? Equal to 1.33, right? What that means? Means for one, right? For £1, right, equal to how many what? Euros, right? Let me write this one again, right? For £1, right, equal to 1.33 euros, right? That's the cross rate. Next one, still a cross rate we have in the homework, right? Just the second time we double check these questions, right? We want to find out the bit rate, right, for this Swiss franc in a what? Price in the euro, right? Price in the euro means our euro is a pricing, right, currency, right? Our Swiss franc, right? Swiss franc is a base currency, right? So we must have CHF in what? In the euro, right? That's our quote we want to solve, right? In the questions, you can see here, right? All these rates are USD equivalent, right? So USD is our what? Pricing currency, right? So we know for these numbers in these tables, right? They all priced in the dollars, right? So means for example, for one Swiss franc, right, equal to how many what? How many dollars, right? So this one is for one Swiss franc, right, equal to how many dollars? And for these two, it's for €1, right, equal to how many dollars, right? Now let's decide we need to use divisions or use a product, right? And you can see the Swiss franc is already in the bottom, right? So it's in the same format like this one, right? In the bottom of Swiss franc, right? But the euros must be in the top, so we need to use our divisions, right? Use 1 over 2, right? Now we need to decide, right, which one we will choose to solve the bid price, right? If we use division, must be clause in the tables, right? That's we already showed in the first video, right? So will be bid over what? Over this one, right? So will be 0.7648 over what? 1.42 is equal to 0.5386. That's for the bid price, right? For ask price, right, should be this one or what? This one, right? So that will be equal to 0.7652 over 1.4, right? That's for bid and ask. You can use the cross divisions, right? If we have the same side, right, must be used what product, right, not division. Division is always what cross divisions, right? But product will be what will be same side, right? Same side. Okay, next one, right? The firm in Australia, right, try to confirm a close quote between a Swiss franc and Australian dollars, right? What is close rate for respect to quote? First one, right? The first step we need to determine is divisions of product, right? You can see the dollars, right, are both in a what? In a bottom of the quote, so we must use our what? Divisions, right? And should be 1 over 2 or 2 over 1, right? Let's decide, right? You can see the Swiss franc is in the top, right? Australian dollars is in the bottom, right? So we must use what? 1 divided by what? 2, right? Now let's solve the, bid price between the Swiss franc and Australian dollars, right? If we already, determine it is divisions, now we must have our what? Cross divisions, right? So we must use 1.5960 or what? 1.7235, right? You can see even this number is not including all the digits, right? But it is a small figure, right? The first two numbers should be the same as our bid price, so that will be also 7235, right? For this one, if you want to write a whole number, will be 1.5970, right? That's for bid, right? For the ask price, right, it should be 1.5970 divided by 1.7225, right? That's a bid and ask, right? You can see the detail, right, in the lecture notes, right? So I will not go to detail, right? So you can solve this one by yourself, right? Based on my method here. You will not follow to say the detail how we will arrive this one, use the transactions, but you will use our method, right, based on this step here, right? The next one, right, we want to solve the New Zealand dollars, right, to the Singapore dollars, right, the cross rate. Okay, so you can see here. First one, we have the New Zealand dollars, right, and the Singapore dollars, right? One's the American terms, one's European terms, right? European terms, right? Can you solve this one, right? Use what we learned in the class, right? What is American terms, right? Please tell me what is American terms. American terms means what? Means, you see, American term means our dollars is what? Pricing currency, right? So for this one, right, it should be, for 1 New Zealand dollars, right, equal to how many US dollars, right? That's for the American terms. For European terms, it's different, right? The dollars will be what? The base currency. So it's US dollars as base currency, right? To use what? To use New Zealand dollars as pricing currencies, right? Same thing for this one is what? Is for the Singapore dollars, right? Equal to 1 Singapore dollars, right? Will equal to how many what? US dollars, right? And for the European terms, right, will be for 1 US dollars, right? Equal to how many Singapore dollars, right? Now we want to check what? We want to check a New Zealand dollar to Singapore dollars cross rate, right? So let's decide which one we will use, right? First one, you can see here, right? We will use the, right? Divided by what? 2, right? Divided by 2. In such way will be US dollars over Singapore dollars, right? Divided by what? US dollars to the New Zealand dollars, right? So USD and USD will be cancelled out, right? Then this one will be moved to the top, right? Will be New Zealand dollars toward Singapore dollars, right? So that's the 1, right? Over what? 2, right? So we know this will be divisions, right? Will be what? Will be the cross divisions, right? So the bid price, right? The bid price will be what? The bid price will be equal to 0.6135 divided by what? 0.7272, right? For the ask price, right, will be 0.6140 divided by what? 0.7265. Right? So that's the bid and ask for New Zealand dollars to a Singapore dollars quote. Right? If you don't want to use this side, of course you can use what? This side. Right? Then for this side will be used what? Will be used this one, right? Divided by what? Divided by this one, right? Now we have the New Zealand dollars over Singapore dollars, right? So the bid will be what? So the bid will be 1.3751 over what? 1.6300, right? You can compare these two answers. They must be the same, right? If you don't believe it, right, we can double check it here, right? So 0.6135 over 0.7272, right, equal to what? Equal to the 0.8436, right? For this one, right, will be 1.3751 over 1.6300 equal to what? 0.8436, right? Exactly same numbers, right? For asking price, right, you can either use this side, right, use this one, or use this side, right? Ask price will be, 1.3765 over what? 1.6287, right? So this one answer will be also the same, right? So let me summarize these questions again, right? So for this one, because our quote offer both two terms, right? One's American terms, one's European terms. So you must figure out, right, what the American terms means. Right? American terms means that, we use the dollar to price what? Price a foreign currency, right? And what's the European terms? Means for $1, right, equal to how many what? Foreign currency, right? If you already know this quote, then based on our method we used in the previous questions, right, first you need to determine is a product or divisions, right? Then you need to decide use which one to do the product, which one to use the divisions, right? Then you will choose what? Choose the relatively, numbers, right, in the tables to the calculations. For example, right, for the product, we know we must use the same side, right? But for the divisions must be the clause, right? So then you can finish the answer, right? Next one, right? I think you already saw these questions many times, right? We have been, spending a lot of times to deliver how to solving the triangular arbitrage, right? So that's the same similar questions we did in class before, right? So there are three quotes, right? The two quotes are against $2, right? So that's a quote in the what? In the US, right? And the other quote, right, is not involved in the dollars, right? So it's a foreign quote. Right? So you must to draw our triangular and first, right? And this triangle you can label the quote on the 3 note, right? So this one will be the Swiss franc to dollars, right? And this one is what? Australian dollars, right, to the dollars, right? And this one is Australian dollars to the Swiss franc, okay? So the first step, you always what? You solve the implied cross rate based on these two quotes, right? Next step, you will use the cross rate you solved from these two quotes, right, to compare with this one, right, to determine which currency is overpriced in the US, right, which currency is what underpriced in the US, right, and we will always what buy something, right, cheap and sell something expensive, right? So we buy something underpriced and sell something overpriced, right? After you determine this, strategy, right? So you can form a path on this triangle, right? To see how you can make a profit, right? Profit. So I will not go to the detail for this question because we already solved these questions in class, right? Please read our notes, right? For more details of the calculations, right? And also in the last videos, we review our homework, right? For the two triangular arbitrage questions, right? Please go over these details, right? For these calculations. Next one, I want to review for something forward, for the spot rate and the forward rate. What is spot rate? Spot rate is the rate you can observe on the market right now, right? That's the transaction, you can observe immediately, right, on today's market. So if you want to buy exchange, currency, right, that's how much you can get, right, immediately, right, to be delivered, right? But what's the forward rate? Forward rate means the rate will be not for now, right, but something you signed and you are expecting to receive this one in the future with the rate in the contract, right? So these ones are forward exchange rate. So forward contract is an agreement, right? You will deliver a foreign exchange in a future date, right, with a rate given in today's market, right? For example, on time zero, right, you can observe, for €1, you can get what? $1.2, right? But in 3 months later, right, we have a forward rate, right? So on today's market, on time zero, you signed a contract, a forward contract, right? You will buy the euro, right? Use the dollars with what? With 1.3, right? So on today's market, you are expecting the euro will be more expensive. So you want to, reduce the risk. You sign this contract, right? So you will buy the euro based on the contract for what? For $1.3 per euro, right? So that's the forward contract. For example, here, right? You got a quote, right? Spot quote between the dollar and Canadian dollars equal to 0.7560 to 0.7625, right? You can see the difference is what? 16 minus 25, the points will be what? Will be 35 points, right? That's the bid ask spread, right, in the points. And you also observe, right, the 3 months forward points are 12 to 16, right? So 12 means what? Means the bid price for the forward contract will be trading with a premium with 12 points, right? So 12 above the spot rate is the forward contract rate, right, in 3 months later. And 16 is the points above the asking price, right, for the 3 months forward, right? So you can derive the bid and ask quote, right? by adding these points, right, to the bid and ask accordingly, right, to solve the quote for the 3 months forward rate. Next one, right, we also reviewed in the first video, right? So you have short positions, right? Means you will sell something, right? For how much, right? In the future, right? So you want to sell 1,000 euro, right? Forward for $1,500, right? In a 3 months later, right? However, in a 3 months later, what's the actual rate on the market is you can sell the euro, 1 euro, right, for $1.6, right? So for 1,000 euro, you can actually get what? $1,600. However, you already signed a contract, you already make a promise to sell 1,000 euro for $1,500, right? So you actually incur a loss, right, based on what? Based on a market rate, right? So you lost what? $100, right? That's your loss. And then we also study, what's the forward premium and discount, right, in the first video, right? So here, just recap, right? Our premium or discount will be forward rate minus spot rate over spot rate times 360 over how many days in this forward contract, right? So this is 180 days, right? 6 months forward, right? So you can see we're rolling this premium actually 2 times for the whole year, right? Forward rate is what? Forward rate is 1.3, right? Spot rate is 1.25, right? Over 1.25 times what? 2, right? The next one. The current spot rate is $1.95 per pound, right? 3 months forward is $1.9 per pound. Based on your analysis of exchange rate, you are pretty confident the spot rate will be what? $1.92 per pound, right? So if you are confident, right, the rate will be $1.92 per pound, right? How you will, make a profit? Will buy or sell, right? 1 million pound, or you will buy or sell 1 million pound to make a profit. You need to determine, right, how you will make a profit. So you can see here, right? In the market believe what? The market believe 1 pound, right, were worth $1.9, right, in 3 months, right, in 3 months. Okay? But what is your belief, right? You believe what? You believe for 1 pound, right, equal to what? $1.92 in 3 months, right? So in your analysis, you believe the pound were worth more, right? Were worth more than what? Than the market believe, right? So what you will do, right? What you will do? Let's see the detail, right? Because you believe, right, the spot rate in the future, right, will be more expensive than what? Than the market rate, right? You believe the pound will be more expensive, more valuable, right? So you should buy something what? Valuable, right? You should buy this what? 1 million forward, right? So if you sign this forward contract, right, and you will what? You will pay $1.9 million, right? Get this what? Get this 1 million pound, right? If you sign this contract, then you can immediately, right, sell this 1 million pound to the market, right? Based on analysis forward for $1.92 billion, right? You pay this amount, right? But what you get? You get 1.92 million, right? The difference will be what? Will be 20,000 what? Dollars, right? That's your net profit, right? If you bought this what? Forward contract. However, if unluckily, right, the rate turned to be what? $1.86 per pound. So you believe the pound will be more expensive than the market rate in the future. However, right, the pound moving to the opposite, right? The pound even less valuable than the rate on the market. Then you will what? You will has a loss, right? Because you have a long position, you hold the contract, right? In a contract, right? In a forward contract, right? You promise to pay what? To pay $1.9 million, right? To buy what? To buy 1 million pounds, right? But in the market, in a market, in a spot market, right? 3 months later, right? The same 1 million pound is only worth what? Only worth $1.86 million, right? But you paid even more than market values, right? So what's your loss? Your loss will be the difference between these two amounts will be 40,000 what? Dollars, right? So you incur a loss, right? So that's our chapter for the forward, right? On chapter 5, right? Chapter 5. Last one I want to go over, right, is for chapter 6, right? We study what? We study the two parities, right? Two parities. Once the covered interest rate parity, right, is F over S equal to 1 plus I what? IX over 1 plus IY, right? So our exchange rate will be X over Y, right? To be more details, or maybe give you more specific examples, right? We have the forward rate over spot rate equal to 1 plus I dollars, right? Divided by 1 plus I, for example, euros, right? So our exchange rate will be dollar to what? Euro, right? So this interest rate in the US and this interest rate in the European countries, right? So this is our forward rate, right? Forward rate between the dollar to the euro and spot rate from the dollar to euro, right? So we also know this covered interest rate parity, right? Covered, right? Interest rate parity can be also written in this way, right? So this is the change of what? Exchange rate, right? And this one is what? The difference between what? Between the interest rate. So you can see here, right? If the US has more interest rate, higher interest rate than the European countries, right? Our exchange rate will be what? Will be goes up, right? Goes up means what? Means for the same euro, right? It will be get what? More dollars, right? So dollar will be what? Will be appreciate. Depreciate, right? The euro will be what? Appreciate, right? So in a long term, right? Dollar will be depreciate. Euro will be appreciate if our US has a higher interest rate than than the European countries, right? as our current interest rate parity, right? We can use this bond to determine, right, the currency will be appreciate or depreciate in the long term. Right, the next one is forward for purchasing power parity, right, PVP. It's very similar to our interest rate parity, right? And we have the forward rate over spot rate equal to what? Equal to the 1 plus what? 1 plus inflation rate, right, in a X country over 1 plus inflation rate in a Y country, right? So the pi means what? The pi is the inflation, right? Our exchange rate is X over Y, right? So you can see F over S equal to the 1 plus I dollar equal to 1 divided by 1 plus I euro, right? So exchange rate will be dollar to what? Euro, right? It's very similar, right? But here, just what? Just inflation rate, okay? So if the US has a higher inflation, right, than foreign countries, right? You can say for the same euro, right, it will get what? More dollars, right? So if the US has a high inflation, right, the dollar will be what? Will depreciate, right? Euro will be what? Will appreciate, right? That's our purchasing power parity, right? So for these two parities, right, I will not give you too many, difficult questions, right? Basically, you will use these, equations, right, to determine what's the forward rate, what's the spot rate, right, and also what's the interest rate, right, based on the, exchange rate given, right? So you will do some small calculations, right? And also for purchasing power parities, right, you will also based on this equation to do some small calculations and give some simple, right, simple interpretations, right? We will not expecting you to do very deep, difficult calculations and difficult interpretation for these chapters, right? Very possible in the next lectures, I will give you some extension for these two parity, right? To give more detailed discussion, right? But for this test, we will not go to very detail for these two parities, right? Just write this parity down, right? You can do the small calculations, right, accordingly. Okay, so let's follow the review for the test, right? So you can see the most questions are from our homework and also examples in our lecture notes. So please go over each lecture notes in more detail, right? Especially for lecture notes in the chapter 2. We not cover too many details of chapter 2 in this review, right? So you need to go over chapter 2 by yourself, right? You can see in the chapter 2, we study, different countries. They have a different, exchange rate policies, right? Some countries have a flexible exchange rate like US and Japan, right? Some countries has a fixed rate, right? Fixed rate, right? How they fixed rate? How they pegging, right, their rate to the US dollars? Right? You can see they can either use what? Use the currency bureau, right? Like our case in a class, right? The Hong Kong, right? They have a currency bureau. Make sure, right? They are Hong Kong dollars, right? With the same, 7.8 to a dollars, right? For most time. And some countries, right? Also try to fix the rate, right? By selling and buying their what? Reserve, right? So if their currency depreciate, right, they are most likely to sell the foreign reserve, right? Try to boosting their what? Their price of their own currency, right? So you can check the detail, right? Some countries even has no their own currency, right? They use the dollars instead, right? We have a dollar relations, right? And some countries are high interventions to their market, right? They have to intervene, right? They intervene in the market a lot, right? So for example, right, like Japan, right, they have some intervene to the market, right, make exchange rate more smoothly, right, smoothly, so it will be better for their what exports, right, exports, right. So please try to go over these examples in class, right, and we also discussed the hyperinflation case in the Zimbabwe, right, in class. And also Ecuador's right, the dollar relations example. Please go over this chapter for more details, right? And also beyond the different countries, different exchange rate policies, right? We also go over the stage of the different, exchange rate in the history, right? And the very beginning is we have the bi-metal, you know, exchange currencies, right? We have the gold and the silver as the two major, trading metals, right? Now we have the what? We have the dollars, right? We have the first we have the gold, right? Now we have the dollars, right? Then we have the this one we have the Bretton Woods system, right? And after this one collapse, right? And we have the different exchange rate in different markets, right? We have the flexible, fixed rate, and the others, right? So please check the history of our exchange rate in the markets and what's the impact of the global economy. Right? So that's our review for these matters right in the detail.